Hello, alrighty, guys. Welcome back to another session of daily recaps. Today's date is Tuesday, February 17th, and I took one loss and one break even trade. The first loss here was NQ's loss. I took a 930 trade, which was this sweep of this low. And then after that low has been swept, we've seen this very strong closure through. With this strong closure through, I went and took this entry. Stops went to this low. That's also trading away from that 15-minute swing off of this 15-minute low here. And I was aiming for all of this low resistance that was located above me for that daily open low high close, and then a little bit more for your 2R. That was my first entry. That one obviously went straight to stop loss. That one went, I mean, not straight. Yeah, actually, it did go straight to stops. So it went straight to stops, and this was telling me with this displacement lower and bounce off of that daily opening price, I seen it as okay. So we are not going lower anymore. We must be going, or we're not going higher. We must be going lower. And this is also going into YM reasoning as well. So my next entry here was YM, and my YM entry was this 10 a.m. candle, seeing that we had a 15-minute C2, and then I traded the 10 a.m. open high, low, strong closure, entry on the CISD, and I aim for 2R or full TP that's down here. And we'll go over the reasons why I took this one as well. And that one as well got stopped out at break even. So we are done for the day from there. Away from that, so -1R on the day, unfortunately. Yeah, nonetheless, it's all good though. It's all good. I like this NQ trade. I did like this NQ trade and the way that we played it, and I did like this YM trade exactly how we planned it and play it as well. So very good entries there, in my personal opinion. And let's go over the trade ideas and shit like that, right? It's just turned into ass. The whole day is ass. I'm not gonna lie to you from there, right? So with that being said, let's drop into this. So my first assumption, I was thinking bullish. Why? Because if I'm anticipating a bearish week, I want to print a wick on the weekly candle. I do take notice that there is this sweeping of this SMT fill. So with this being an SMT fill, I want to see a bearish week, right? I definitely do want to see a bearish week coming into this week. Why? Because we have this expansion met with expansion, and I do have all of these lows that looks very free for us to go down to there. And what do we have? An accumulation, manipulation, expansion back into the range, opening up of gaps, and then we're holding those gaps. But in order for me to be bearish, I wanted to see a little bit more of an upside move just to enter the week for that Monday in order for us to set the wick of the weekly candle. Now, with that being said, it was just very free that we did have this sweep. I want to recognize that we do have this sweep here. However, the daily profile in itself was telling me to take some longs today, as the daily profile did have that open low profile where we was wanting to go back up to this high to print the wick of that weekly candle and possibly go up and take out this range high prior to going dropping lower, right? And the same thing kind of goes with NQ, as I wanted to take out all of these highs, that low resistance, before going lower in order for us to just rebalance some shit. So that's kind of a big reason I took these longs, and just basing it off of the weekly or the daily price as well, kind of just opening straight low into a relative level. And then I was anticipating for a range low back up to range high. So going from external of the range to internal, so then we can just continue back down to my overall draw on liquidity. With that being said, we do have this accumulation candle here, and from 6 a.m. comes down, sweeps out this level, and it was just really just driver confirmation from there. So with the driver confirmation from here, what do we take notice of is, here is your accumulation. With your accumulation, how would you like to leave an accumulation? This also take place, when does it take place as well? Right, it takes place after a relative level gets tapped into. So once this relative level gets tapped into, we get hit with what? An accumulation. How do we want to leave an accumulation? Is by is by manipulation. So once we had this manipulation here, what can we anticipate from a manipulation? A distribution back upwards. So here's your manipulation, and then I wanted to see us rip through these highs up to the next draws on liquidity, which is this is your push through, and I wanted to see what range low going back up to range high. So this is my target for the day. If I wanted to be bullish, this was what I was targeting, right? So going from your range low back up to range high to print the wick of the daily candle or the weekly candle, and you can see how the weekly candle does open low. Yeah, it has an open high here, but it doesn't really open into anything of true significancy. So I would consider this more of an open low profile into something of true significancy, and then we did start to react out of it with that V-shaped reversal. Once you have this V-shaped reversal, I'm looking at this as, okay, there is a possibility for this to be considered long bias, right? And we do take notice of this 8 a.m. C2 looking for 9 a.m. C3 to all of this low resistance liquidity that was resting above us. We do have this 30-minute CISD as well, giving me a possible low of day, where I'm assuming that this could be considered your low of day with that manipulation. Now, with that being said, I look in on the driver entry. What happens here on the driver from 9:30? 9:30 does open low, and it does sweep out some lows here, and it does go and push us upwards with this strong candle closure here, with it being very full. I went and entered here, stops below this manipulation low, and my target was for all of this low resistance and just a little bit more for that 2R to go and feed us into that internal range liquidity, and I would have been able to go stops to break even as soon as you cross this high. So with that being said, I took that first entry. That one got stopped out. I took it off as soon as I had this CISD to the downside. So once I had this CISD, took it off there, and like saved me, I guess you could say, like $50, which is cool. I like saving $50. I don't know about you, but yeah, once we got that CISD to the downside, I obviously know that we're wrong, and my bias was wrong. Once this gap got inverse to the downside as well, this is obviously standards that we are wrong on the day, and this it just ripped straight downwards. We wanted to see this gap hold, which didn't hold, right? That would have been the best bet, but again, right, you have your range high, your range low, tap into the range low. If there's no reversal from the range low, what do we get hit with? A different phase in price and accumulation. How do we leave an accumulation? Manipulation. How do we confirm a manipulation? V-shaped reversal, CISDs. And then the driver went and confirmed this low with the expansion away. That was good to me. That looked really fucking good to me, right? To go and trade back up to these highs. And yeah, it just didn't work out. So I'm pretty cool with that. And then I took this one, and it also went into effect as well. Why did I choose NQ rather than YM? Because there's also an SMT at these lows, right? So this is also something that you want to take notice of, is that there is SMTs at this low like this. So there is a reason for this to be considered the low of day to go and upwards as well. So there's a crack there. With that being said, it didn't work, and yeah. So I took a look at YM as well. YM off the driver went and ripped up higher, and then it did have a very strong closure to the downside. So that's a big reason why I didn't choose YM as my asset for that 933 entry, because this wick was not it, dog. That shit was fucking ass. I'm not gonna front to you. Once that happened there, I did not want to enter on YM, so I refocused my energy on NQ because it had a very strong closure versus strong wick closure, and that's not it. We could see that strength was flipping into NQ to go and rip up higher, which it didn't, right? And that's fine. That's not fucking whatever, you know what I mean? It's whatever it is. And then what do we see? NQ does rip lower. So with this NQ rip lower, then that instantly puts me down. That puts me down 1R. But what does this actually end up as for NQ? What does it look like? It looks like a seek and destroy type profile. So with this seek and destroy profile here on NQ, what is a seek and destroy profile? It is not a profile, but it is seek and destroy, as it is broadening right now, so you don't really want to participate in NQ, so this becomes scratched. However, a seek and destroy is also a consolidation. So with a consolidation being on NQ, we can take notice of it with this consolidation happening on NQ, sweep all highs, sweep all lows, push up, push back down. You don't really want to participate in that, but this becomes a consolidation. If this is consolidating at a relative draw on liquidity where there's an SMT where it's not really reacting, then YM, the lagging asset, should be able to, right, break this SMT. So I was trading the lagging asset logic and trying to trade YM down to those downside lows. What do we take notice of here is that coming in, and I traded in coming into the 10 a.m. candle, right? So coming into the 10 a.m. candle, we have your expansion, and we expand away from all of this shit. And this is telling me that, okay, there is a possibility that these highs are no longer going to get visited, and we're just using our fucking brain from there, right? It's like, okay, we have a CISD. We are not going up to these highs. We are expanding away. We should be able to flush down to take out this SMT low, which is here. So with that being said, I wait for the 10 a.m. to open high, low, close. Once we have that 10 a.m. open, high, low, close, I do get a really good fill as well. It pretty much exactly on this fucking CISD like this. Boom, I enter in with a very strong full body here, and I enter in like that. Stops goes to the wicks. We get edged a little, but fucking rips back downwards. I'm shooting for 2R, and then we run short of 2R, right? So, oh shit. Right, and then I'm shooting for 2R. What happens here is we run short of 2R by just a little bit, and it comes back up and stops me out of break even. I go break even when we get the candle closures through here, because now this becomes a really large OB. I don't really want to see price come back up anymore, especially after this deep retracement that pushed upwards. There is an SMT in between these highs, by the way, so SMT fill and shit, whatever you want to fucking call it. But nonetheless, we do see this deep retracement and then the push back downwards. And with that push back downwards, I don't really want to see us fucking come back up. Why? Because if it comes back up, then that's consolidation, and I don't really want to see that. I want to see it just fucking flush right now, right? I didn't go break even at this low. Why did I not go break even at this low? Because honestly, going break even at this low is kind of, you're wasting like a fucking trade, if I gotta be honest. Like, the chances of you getting break even when you have high conviction to go down here is pretty decent, right? So that's why I just left it open, and then we got edged, and then we came back down, closure through. We want to see this rip now. What happens? It rips upwards. So with that being said, what does this instantly become on all assets is just a seek and destroy profile, where we do have this seek and destroy. We have this seek and destroy, and then we have this seek and destroy. So all assets turned into ass, and you don't want to participate in ass. You know what I mean? You don't like to eat ass. What the fuck? That was fucking crazy. That was such a crazy statement. What the fuck? Yeah, but yeah, it is literally like that. You don't want to participate in ass. You know what I mean? Fuck that. Other than that, -1R on the day. I like this. I did enjoy this trade here. Like, I did enjoy this NQ long. I really did enjoy this NQ long, which went straight to stops, which was pretty fire if you gotta ask me. This is a driver confirmation of my already existing theory for you to hit that. Like, if I showed you what this looked like before all of this shit happened, you can't tell me that this isn't fucking. You cannot tell me that this isn't like an AMD, a nice fucking. If I was to frame it before, right? Accumulation. Manipulation, tap into relevant, anticipate a new phase, right? What phase are we given? An accumulation, manipulation. What are we targeting? DOL, low resistance liquidity. Daily candle does what? Open, accumulates, low, accumulates, manipulates, push, entering off of here to go back up to these highs, right? Boom. With us having all that low resistance, yeah, from range low to range high. Fuck, this is a very obvious This looks obvious to me, right? I don't know about you guys, but it looks obvious to me for you to go and push it back upwards. Um, yeah, fuck. I really can't tell you what's wrong with it. I can't really tell. I genuinely can't tell you why this trade failed. Other than overall order flow of market being bearish, but just profile in general and everything else supported us for us to go higher. That's basically what it was. And then I did flip my bias to being bearish, but again, right, it just fell apart from there. So with it falling apart, it's just don't participate in this anymore. It's seek and destroy, right? The daily profile isn't seek and destroy, but the current profile of what happened, this entire area just became a giant accumulation from London and on, right? And New York just kind of just accumulated. Was there like tall tale signs that this could have happened? I don't think so personally, because the range is here. It's large in point wise, but not large in standards wise, because fucking everything is pretty large right now, right? But other than that, I'm gonna stop rambling. I don't really know why this failed. I'm not gonna lie to you there. This looked really nice to me. I guess you could say this high is a possibility for it to reverse, but honestly, if you're gonna be bullish, we're gonna rip through this high anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You don't really have to wait, like waiting for a 3 minute pullback and a 3 minute continuation. It's a little bit much right here. I'm not gonna front, especially around the driver. You're gonna get a little 3 minute body like that, and then you won't have the confidence to enter on that little 3 minute body because of the fact that maybe not even a 3 minute body, it could be just a 1 minute with this very strong closure. Just enter that fucker, dog. But if it was to create a little 3 minute body, the body would have been really small, and we would have just continued if we're truly gonna expand. And you're not having the fucking confidence to enter on that small little 1 3 minute body. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I just took it as the strong closure through the high there. And our stop loss was at a 15-minute swing formation as well. We have the accumulation, manipulation, and seeing the distribution. Accumulation, manipulation, seeing the distribution. And that was just all. It was pretty fucking aligned. I'm not going to front to you there. Why did this also swing down to sweep it? Because there's no wick on that 15-minute candle or the 30-minute candle. So it set the wick of those 15 and 30. And then the driver yeah, fuck. That's fine, bro. Yeah, good trades overall. Good day, good trades. Learning lessons. I don't fucking know. I couldn't tell you, dog. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I think that today was a good day. I think that I did a very good job. I followed my motto. I followed the plan. These are really good trades. I can't figure out why NQ has failed. Other than the one thing that you could say is that we are in bearish order flow, but nonetheless we turned it into a seek and destroy, and shorts was not the move either, right? I wanted to see internal to go and trade external, so that way we can get rid of these highs for the rest of the week to go and expand lower down to these lows. So that's kind of what I was anticipating for, and the daily profile and everything. So yeah. Range low to range high. It looked good to me. And I'm cool with it. Other than that, -1 aura on the day. And I will catch you guys in the next session. Peace.